All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Mas Futbol Podcast. I am your host, Ricardo Ulloa, and I am here at the wonderful Bill Muro, the number one spot for futsal, you know? If you haven't been here, definitely check it out. But I do have some amazing guests with me today. One guy has been here before, and another guy is new. We're all going to get to know him today. But my guests with me today, Evan Dresel, and the one and only Flash Carter. How are you guys today?
Good.
Great, man. How are you?
Doing great, man. I appreciate you for reaching out and coming on the podcast. I hear there is a lot of nice and new things going on there at Sporting Oklahoma, and this would be a great time to kind of share it with everybody. But how are the both of you guys?
Man, we're busy. I'm sure you have, coaches on here all the time that tell you to stay pretty busy with the college, and Flash coaches with me at OC, and then also just all the stuff going on at the club, just trying to manage everything and give everything the attention that it needs. But I think right now, and that's what we were kind of chatting about a little bit earlier, was it's an exciting time for us at the club, just with the new facility, MLS Next, some exciting things happening in the academy, and then on Flash's side with the competitive side of things, I think it's just an exciting time to kind of talk about things. But yeah, Flash,
it's like, where do we start? Let's start by getting to know Flash first, because
this is great.
I know you, but I don't know Flash. Flash, tell me a little bit about yourself. Where did soccer start for you?
Started for me in Stockton-on-Tees, which is in the northeast of England. Grew up playing for my granddad's club that he owned. He lately passed in October. He started the club with his best friend, and kind of their mission and vision was to get kids off the street and get them in a healthy football environment. And the club's been going for 30 years strong now. Took teams all over Europe and, won a lot of major titles. And kind of my twin brother Dash, actually, need to mention him. He's over there right now, kind of holding down the fort over in Stockton with the club and kind of running things over there. So yeah, started there when I was 5, just, playing up on any team that I could get on with my granddad's, all the teams that he had. Went to Holland, played a few years up there, and yeah, just played there until 2018. Had the opportunity to come play at MacU for Evan and Coach Zach as well. And then, yeah, played over here for 4 years in Oklahoma City. Done a little bit in Philadelphia as well for a summer, and then a COVID semester in Florida as well, and then came back here to start coaching.
Nice, what a resume. I always find it interesting getting to hear the story of how you were convinced to come to Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. What was that experience like?
So it was interesting. So at the time, Zach there was a guy in England called Mike Taylor who was a American missionary with a church, and he was in my hometown, and I got introduced to him through my MMA coach, funnily enough, and then I ended up moving in with Mike Taylor, who was Zach Bice's youth pastor.
Oh wow.
And so Mike connected me with Liberty University. There was a school in North Carolina, and then Oklahoma City. So I came to Dallas the year before to visit and do some work in the community in Dallas, and then got told Oklahoma City's 2.5 hours away. You need a tornado jacket, and so we just hit the road and we came up to MacU, got to train with the team, got to meet Evan and Zach, and something just started pulling me towards MacU and Oklahoma City, and we had a few issues with visa stuff coming in the fall, so I wasn't able to play that first year, but once we got all that cleared up, was able to play and stuff like that, and yeah, I had some amazing memories there at MacU.
And now Oklahoma's home.
Yeah, it is. I tried getting away. I tried moving to Florida. That didn't really work. Ended up getting dragged back here, but yeah.
Nice. Well, we're always grateful to have foreigners. I always tell everyone that Oklahoma always, benefits from the foreigners that come and play college and end up making it home.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot. It's a hotbed, man. I think that's one of the biggest things with this city as well. There's so much opportunity for soccer. Mm-hmm. You got people from all over the place that's right here in Oklahoma City, and it's a great city to be a part of. There's great things happening here with you guys. with the pro team coming back, I think, there's something bubbling here, and I think when it takes off, we can take it to the next level here.
Definitely. Now, your role at Sporting, what is your role and what does that look like?
So I'm the director of player development. So under me, I kind of make sure that everybody sees our game model and it's being implemented, and just putting forward our mission and our vision, talking with coaches, trying to help them implement our philosophy to the kids, and helping communicate that through to parents as well. And also, just making sure the player development side, that every player is on their own personal development track to being the best player they can be. Yeah. So everything really, yesterday I was lining fields in the 70 degree, in the winds and stuff like that. But yeah, do a little bit of everything.
Yeah, dude, that wind was crazy yesterday, wasn't it? Friday?
Yeah, it was insane. I don't think have you ever seen wind that?
No. I mean, unless we're in a tornado, but no. Like, consistent wind like that? No. I saw shingles flying.
Do you still run?
Not in that wind.
Hey, listen, when it's windy, run with the wind, and you'll set, like, all kinds of personal records.
That's not
If you go out to run in the wind, make sure you're taking you're going with the wind the most of the run.
Definitely, because then getting home is going to be the issue.
Well,
but,
yeah.
Make sure you don't fly away.
Hey, Flash's first year here, he actually did more MMA than soccer.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, at the time, I wasn't eligible to play, so,
that makes sense.
Competed in multiple different martial arts back home from the age of 10. So, yeah, got involved in a local MMA gym, and I was loving it there. So, I couldn't go on the road or anything like that or do much with the team, so that was kind of something else I was doing, as it's a big passion and hobby of mine as well, still now.
Do you have any professional fights under your belt?
Not professional, no. I had a few amateur bouts.
Fights?
Yeah,
Here in
competition.
In Oklahoma?
No. Actually, I'd love to compete in Oklahoma, but everything I'd done was all across the UK.
That's kind of crazy, I guess if the coaching director's ever gotten in a fight, Sporting Oklahoma got an MMA guy in there.
I have
a charity
old
boxing match.
Yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
Make a little ring at the fields.
I was talking to Tage, and I asked him, I was like, hey, if the coaches of Oklahoma, of the different clubs, competed, the Sporting Oklahoma team, the Energy team, Cosmos, Celtic, WSA, who do you think would come out top? And then he gave me the starting 11 too, which you guys made the starting 11 for Tage's Sporting Oklahoma
we have
team.
to.
Yeah, there's only 12 of us.
Yeah, Flash in the goal.
Yeah, I don't know what he said. Maybe that or in the wings. He said you were fast.
Have him on the wing?
No. Well, he must have been having a laugh then. No, that would be interesting. We got some real good players on the staff. That's the one thing with our coaching staff right now is there's a lot of youth in there. A lot of people that want to develop more as a coach, and kind of that was a thing for me when I'm picking out coaches is just bringing in good people. But yeah, as far as our coaching staff goes, the young, got Brad who's a whippet.
I don't know what that means, but
he's absolutely rapid. Yeah,
when he says stuff, I just go,
yeah. But yeah, we'd have a great group.
Does how did the addition of MLS come about? Does that just I definitely just doesn't come and just get given to you. Is there a process that you guys?
Yeah, it was a long process actually, and kind of coming off a tough year on the club side, so there was a lot of things that needed to be put in place as far as the foundations of the club. But through our partnership with Sporting Kansas City and some meetings that we had with them and the MLS, they kind of told us that this was coming into town, and the MLS were looking to expand with a new competition tier. And we thought it was the perfect time for us, right? We're moving into this new facility, and we got good coaches coming in, and I think for us it's kind of a prime time. And just Oklahoma soccer in general, I think there's a lot of kids out there still that are not getting to see the potential of what they can go and do. So yeah, through Kansas City, and we had a big application we had to send in, a bunch of meetings, interviews, just to make sure everything was in place. So yeah, it kind of came through Kansas City. They helped us out a lot, and we were lucky enough to be picked to run it for Oklahoma City, and hopefully we can do a great job of that and showcasing the talent on the MLS new competition tier.
Yeah, that's huge. A lot of people are excited to hear, even just be able to participate in it.
Yeah.
Along with the team here in Oklahoma City, I think, what is it, Greenwood and Tulsa as well?
Greenwood and Tulsa as well. So they're going to be in both the tiers. They're going to be in MLS Next and the new competition tier. They've been doing great stuff as well for the past 2 years. So they'll kind of be our partner in that. And yeah, they've got great stuff going on as well. For us in Oklahoma City, we're trying to develop players to send them to Sporting Kansas City and MLS Next teams. I think the biggest thing for us as well is just the exposure for the kids. We get to go to the MLS Next events, which the number 1, 2 and 3 events in the country, MLS Next events with the MLS Cup, MLS Flex, and we're going to be there with them, with the national team scouts, the pro team scouts, and over 200 college coaches. So for me, in that, just making that decision alone for exposure for our kids, I think, it's second to none.
Yeah, I think it's great to have. It allows people to choose. There are a lot of groups, a lot of divisions, a lot of leagues they can play in, but having a choice is very important as well. So just having that option.
Yeah, and it's kind of like on brand with us as well. Being a official academy, being affiliate of Kansas City, kind of being MLS Next new competition tier. It's kind of massive for us as well. It's kind of on brand, and I don't want to say nothing about the girls as well. We got some real exciting things happening on the girls side as well that kind of line up with our values and what we're about as well. So very exciting time, man.
Yeah, what do you think, Evan?
About the MLS Next, or just in general?
In general.
I mean, for me, my main focus is the academy side of things. So I think next year our youngest age group will be 2019s, and then 2016. I guess the age change will be coming at some point. Maybe Flash may know more about that than me. I'm trying to avoid all that until it actually gets here. But so I think it's exciting because you always want your players to have something they're shooting for or a pathway to get somewhere. My biggest, I guess, the thing that drives me the most as a coach at the youth level and college level, but is getting players to where they want to go. Like, where do and their parents, and talking to them. And obviously at the academy level, we're still building the passion for the game, and it's a different, you don't want it to be as serious as competitive. It needs to look a certain way, but having that pathway, and especially if, we're working on the girls' side as well to get some exciting new things, that it does give you something to kind of build towards for us. I mean, I want to take the players in our academy and hand them off to Flash and his coaches, and them be ready to go and be good soccer, compete, and show that they know how to play the right way, at least for their age. So it's exciting for me too. And it's just, man, people lose sight of the fact that sporting is different. Our club is a little bit different because we're privately owned. And so we have, you're building something from scratch, essentially. We don't have, a big rec program that's feeding into our club. At least we haven't. We will have that at some point with the new complex. But so you're trying to always kind of build things from scratch. And, I've been proud of Flash because he's stayed loyal and stayed, with the club through, when you're building something, this. I mean,
things can happen, things can change.
Yeah, and you're going to go, what I would say, and to use like the seasons of the year as a little bit of a analogy is, there's been a little bit of a winter, I think that we've gone through, which is a natural thing when you're growing something, is to go through a little bit of a tough spell where you're trying to keep people, you're trying to get the complex built, there's a lot of things going on. And I really feel like now that foundation is there for what I would say would be the springtime, which is you start seeing a lot of the seeds that you planted and things like that starting to grow and and things start taking off. And I mean, we've seen that here at Invicto with futsal. I mean, you go through all these years of just like, what is it? But I think what sets us apart is a lot of people will quit right before they're about to get
It's kind of like that picture of the guy mining.
So many people do that. And I think, like I said, getting back to Flash, is he's stuck it out and he's grown as a coach. And the last couple of years even, I mean, you can look at him. He's, he had some growing to do. He's a little bit immature. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't say immature.
But I've kind of been there to witness it with him in this side of college, because he was on the team, and when I coached him in college, and it's hard to have that same, your coach and player. Now it's kind of we're peers, but I'm still a little bit of maybe, I don't know if he would call me a mentor, but I'm over him a little bit, but I'm getting to watch him kind of do his own thing and grow and have ownership of his career. And he does a lot of education for this. And so to see him get something like MLS Next has been a little bit more exciting for me, even because I know how hard he's worked and how hard the club's worked to get it. So
the grasshopper has turned into the sensei, I guess you could say.
It's funny that. Because at Oklahoma Christian, he's my boss, but I'm his boss now.
How is it working alongside him at Oklahoma Christian?
Oh, it's great. It's great. Been there 4 years now, and it was a big turnaround, wasn't it? And that's kind of the position that me and Evan kind of find ourselves in a lot, is rebuilding things. We never really go in and pick something off when it's shiny and when it's kind of the cool thing to be involved. But a lot of the things that we do with Oklahoma Christian or Sporting or even Evan at MacU, it was a rebuild. Even when I was at MacU, we were kind of rebuilding, and we got to the Sweet 16. Mm-hmm. So it just seems to be a theme that we've got to go into these places and make all these things happen. But it's been great. Just that's why I thought it was a great idea to bring Evan into Sporting, just to see how he builds culture and kind of a lot of what we agree on youth soccer and grassroots soccer and how kids should be developed just aligned. So it just made sense to bring him in and help him, come along and get him back in the grassroots.
I wouldn't say it was against my will, but, I was out of youth soccer for
a while.
5 years probably. And my wife, had said like, hey, get out, just coach college for a while. We didn't have any kids. Mm-hmm. And so once we started having kids, I'll let someone else coach them, but how hard it is.
Right.
And then,
especially when you know so much. Like I've gone and taken my kids to these events, and majority of the time I'm not even happy. You know what I mean? I was like, I wish they would just give them more attention. There's one ball for 10 kids. There's a lot of standing around, and my wife was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, I can't watch. I'm leaving.
Well, just the journey with coaching my daughter has been different than anything I've ever done. Just learning how to coach your own kid is something you could never really prepare for. And then my son came along, and he was a little bit of a different challenge because he wouldn't play that first year. He wouldn't go into the games. But as they got older, a little bit older, and they got to where, we were coming academy age, my girls team we were a pretty good team, and we weren't getting challenged like we needed to be. And I thought, man, we really need to be attached to an academy. But I'm one of those people that I try to stay outside the machine of things. I really want to stay on the outskirts of things and have the freedom to do, things I believe in. But I think at that time, Danny Frid was the academy director. He ended up taking the job, his college job he's at now, and that position was open. And I was working with Flash, and it was like, they brought me in, like, why don't you just, and I was like, man, my strengths aren't really in organization and, maybe on the developmental side of things, but seeing my own kids grow, and then the players that I've been coaching for a while, it has sparked so many different things in my brain now of how I see the game. And I think I'm lucky because I see them at the college level, and I see them when they're beginning, and I kind of know where it's going to, and seeing things that the college level players that I feel like could be better at that we're not learning at a younger age. And so it kind of aligned perfectly at the time because my kids were just right at that age, and then they were needing, an academy director. But I wouldn't say that Flash is my boss at Sporting. He definitely isn't my boss. I don't know why he said that. If you can edit that out of the podcast. But no, it's an exciting time, I think, to be in soccer right now. It's frustrating and exciting at the same time. Like when I first came back into youth soccer, it felt like walking into the Twilight Zone. Like, I don't know if you've seen the Twilight Zone movie from the 80s. There's a thing in there where the guy's sitting in the airplane, and there's like some demon on the wing, like pulling apart the wing, and and that's kind of what it felt like walking back into youth soccer. It's just, it does feel so like kind of broken in a way. And it feels stalled to me at this point. It feels like we've kind of stalled it as a country and how our development of players. And so to me, if I reframe that, I look at it as an opportunity to try to at least do my small part to try to influence players in the right way at our club, and maybe that grows into something that can start helping, at least locally. That's what I like about what you do. I mean, and even here at Invicto, because we're not attached to a club, there's a sense of community.
Yeah.
And we don't have that. And obviously, and when clubs are competing with each other, and I wish there was more of that. I wish there was more working together and still competing.
Yeah,
to grow the game. Yeah,
there's a lot of egos. Everyone wants to be the best. Everybody wants the best. So it's like, what do you do? You know what I mean? What do you do? I mean, is this any similar to how things are ran in England? Are you taking anything back from being over there that you're using over here?
I mean, as far as the system in general, like my hometown, every city, town in England, there's one governing body, right? There's one league, 10 divisions. Top 2 you get promoted, bottom 2 you get relegated, and then there's a cup that is the whole country, and you advance, it's knockouts. So as far as the system goes, obviously it's very different here because everybody's in all these different leagues, and it just creates more confusion. But I mean, just the model in America is different to the UK. In the UK, you get funded by the government or by the English FA, where here it's kind of you're on your own, you're making your business. Yeah, it's a business, and you've got to kind of make decisions on the business.
It's a business. It's a business. Yeah, it's a business.
Exactly. So it's different. It is different, but the good thing as well, like I mean, I got to take my teams to England 3 times. I got to take my U19 boys there. Took my 07 girls there, and I'm working on taking my 2013 girls there. And it's awesome for them to just see the culture. More than anything, the football culture in England compared to America, like everybody's playing on a Saturday morning, then going and watching the local team play on a Saturday night. So things like that, just, where you're from as well, I'm sure, everybody loves football and it's kind of everything. So I think getting the American kids to see that and having their eyes open to the environment in England as well, it's kind of everything there. So yeah, just a lot of differences, yeah. But the game's a game at the end of the day, you know what I mean? We're trying to develop kids the best. There's not, I think America is really closing that gap right now with the top academy teams that go over and play top UK academies. I mean, the real close games. So yeah, I mean, the play in America is definitely getting better. I think there's a lot of work still to be done in grassroots in general here. But I do think it can get a healthy place.
You said the best teams here are playing over there, and now with Sporting being in MLS Next, you might be able to play against those teams that go off and play over there.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I'd love to do that. When I took my girls, we played Manchester United, and that was rough, very rough. We scored the first goal and the last goal, but I can't remember. There was 18 goals in the middle of that. But yeah, got to do it with the girls, and yeah, we had a great time with the boys actually. Though when we went over, we played a team called Salford, which is owned by Gary Neville, David Beckham, all them, and we played them with my 06s who are graduating out now, and Garnacho's little brother was playing in that game, and so for our boys to kind of see, we call it that's a Cat 3 academy, so there's 3 categories. And now we're kind of in that, right? We're kind of in that mix now of the Cat 3 of what you would call America. Sporting would be as a Cat 1, and we're trying to get our players to that. So it's kind of good to see, and kind of you can resemble, a lot from that.
Yeah, and then getting to play against them, getting to see where you're at with that.
Yeah, it was a great game. We went 1-0 up. Brandon Garcia scored the opening goal, and I thought, what's going on here? And then
we're done. Take the cards off. And
take a picture in front of the scoreboard.
We were in the locker rooms, and I'm looking down, and somebody shows up in a Man United tracksuit. I'm like, who's this? And then talk to the coach and stuff, and he's like, oh yeah, we got Garnacho's brother. He's here on trial. Oh, great. So anyway, we go 1-0 up. We go 3-1 down, and then Brendan Balvan's one of my players who's graduating now and going to Bethel. He scored a hat trick. Beat them 4-3. Got the lads in the coach and we left.
Not a bad story there.
Yeah, no, it was great, but yeah.
The facility. How is the facility coming along?
Really well. So there was a lot of hurdles to jump through, just from the get-go with the land and council and everything like that was kind of messy, but got it figured out in the end. And our field guy at OC, Wade, he done an excellent job at OC, so we thought, let's bring him into Sporting. And he's been out there now, better part of a year, and we're on 4 fields now. In the fall we'll be in 8, and it's going to be state of the art. Like fields and stuff like that. It's coming on really well. We're on 4 fields right now, and yeah, that's looking really good right now.
Where are the fields located?
So West Indian Hills, 6804 West Indian Hills is kind of northwest Norman, south OKC. Great area for us to be in personally. All the kids that can come to our location. It's going to be where the turnpike's getting built as well. So in the future as well, it's going to be a real easy commute from people from all over the state, really.
Is that where everyone is practicing at now, or is it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's where the whole club's at right now. We've been at Pinecrest Park in Newcastle, which that's a great little facility as well. You know, it's real green. We put ryegrass out there. That's where we're playing with our games right now. But all our practices and everything like that is at Indian Hills, and then come in the fall, we should be online with 8 fields, everything going.
Nice, exciting.
Yeah, and there's something else that might be coming as well, but I can't really talk too much about. But it's going to be exciting when we announce that.
We can't just let you leave after just saying that. I'm joking. I'm joking.
So are your kids playing?
They are going to start playing here in about 2 weeks. I signed them up for the Y. The next sport was soccer. Mm-hmm. So I signed them up. I signed myself up as an assistant so I wouldn't have the responsibility. And somebody called and said, hey, your team doesn't have a coach. And I said, well, I don't know what to tell you, man.
Weren't you telling me you wanted to get into coaching?
Yeah, I did. So I volunteered. So now I'm going to coach my U8 YMCA team, which will be interesting. But it'll be fun, you know? Yeah. It's always interesting coaching your kid, you know what I mean? Because there's always that, you know, he'll look at me as a dad, but at that time I'll be a coach, and we'll see what happens, you know? Just put one foot forward and just have fun. Really, my goal is just to have fun, you know? Throw a ball out there, watch them scrimmage, evaluate some players, and then after that, just keep it
evaluate.
Fun. Yeah,
they
right?
just need touches, man. They just need touches.
Well, my son, Henry, he's 6, but he's about to be 7 here in a few weeks, but he plays at Sporting. He's playing up with the 17s, but he started playing with Black Lions in some of the Hispanic leagues. Mm-hmm. So we're over.
What's his name? Was Andres the guy?
Miguel, senior. Okay. Do you know Miguel that plays at Santa Fe South? You would know him if you saw him. Yes. He comes in here. He went to Spain with our boys.
Lopez.
Maybe.
Okay.
So he plays with older Miguel, and I think his son's on that team too. But they've been playing over at Lightning Creek, and then there's a futsal league, and it's on Robinson. It's like a church where you play on the 3rd floor. It's amazing. So he's gotten he's getting the full experience.
Yeah, if you want to see some competition, there's some competition out there.
Dude,
there's passion. There's passion. There's
so much like untapped, you know, talent still in Oklahoma City that you know kids just haven't had the avenue to see.
There's a lot of it, and it's always been there, but it's always like it comes to that point where you'll get these stars that'll come up, and then eventually they'll get plucked by a club, and then the people that have those teams are just like, you know, they're players, but it's just, you know, players are just seeking better opportunities, better teams to play with, and I wish there was something that could be done. You know, there's something that just needs to connect there so we can have that tap potential and that passion feeding somewhere. But you're 100% right. There's a lot of passion.
I'm always telling Flash, you know, like in the grand scheme of things, in my opinion, if you looked at like a pyramid of what's most important at the top and move it down, the sport is always, soccer is always the most important. It's about the game. Beneath that, to me, the players. So it's like, it's always, the players should come before anything else.
Yeah.
After that, it could be parents, coaches, referee, whatever. And they may fluctuate sometimes based on the situation. But what we tend to do here, in my opinion, is the players are somewhere like 3rd or 4th most of the time. It's coaches, parents. You know, I know Kit and Garrett talked about that a little bit when they were in here with the parents and things like that. I actually feel like it's adults in general. It's leadership. It's coaches. It's that we're not really building the culture for the players like we should be. We put ourselves ahead of them a lot of times. And what I notice when I go to Henry's games is, and I know it's kind of leaking into, you know, the Americanization thing, but it's so authentic. Like, I think that Hispanic, Mexican, that community cares about their kids, obviously. They love them to death. But there's a place where the game, they have a passion for the game. Yeah. And I think, you know, a lot of Americans, obviously, we have passion for our kids. And then the game kind of comes second. And when I go there, it's just it doesn't even always have to be perfect. The Lightning Creek, the corner flags are as tall as this.
Yeah.
It's as tall. You got to see it. It's like you walk past the field. But how important is a corner flag really?
Yeah, they don't really care.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's about the game, and he's playing on like 8v8. Like he's 6 years old. They're playing 8v8.
It's hilarious.
Which I believe in. You know, you got to play, but he can get that little experience there, and the boys are aggressive. Like,
yes, they are.
You know, he's a little bit more controlled, and you know, he's looking up, looking for something, but I mean, they go.
Yeah, sometimes you don't have a chance.
I'm like, dude, if you want to touch the ball, you better. Like, get in there. Like, you got to go. I mean, they just
looks
go.
at you from the sideline like, it's not supposed to be like this. And that's
but, man, like, some of the players will make a mistake, and you'll hear the parents laughing at them. Like, almost making fun of them a little bit. And, again, it's like there's a joyfulness to it. And I know it's not always that way. I know that it's, you know, it can get crazy just like it can anywhere else. But I've appreciated that about those leagues. It's been great for him.
That's funny. I like to hear that. That's good. I can't imagine what the experience has been like, just going to watch and just sitting there and just watching everyone else compared to, like you said, watching it.
I like it because no one knows me.
That's true.
So I just sit there and I'm in the group chats, and they're speaking Spanish, and I have to like Google Translate to make sure we're going to the right fields.
And they're saying who's that bald guy sat over
there? Yeah. So they all, like, when they ask if someone's going to be at the game, everyone says "sí," you know, and I'm like, yes. So I'm trying to wait for my moment to say.
And do they know you're like a head coach of a college? And
I don't know. Miguel probably does, but I don't know. I tried. It's about him playing and him playing with them, and so it's been great. But yeah, I wish there was a little bit more of even a pathway there to know what the next step is for those guys. Because I would love to have them in our academy, but I kind of feel like what you guys are doing over here
works
pretty good. Like, why would I bring you over here and try to change, you know, what you're doing?
Ruin it. It could make it better, but what they're doing is working.
Yeah, and, you know, obviously the money, and there's just different things that go into it. But I do think there's a point where I don't know how that happens, that bridge to the next step for more kids, not just for the 3 or 4 that have the means or that, you know, have the right connections. So I do think that's something we should think about and, you know, look at that. Because just being in it now, I'm like, man, this is awesome.
Yeah.
They can't hardly keep their footing on the futsal floor. They're like sliding. Of course, I come from here expecting some, you know, beautiful game. Man, it is.
And then they score and have some crazy celebration because these kids watch adult soccer, so they're doing adult celebrations. He doesn't even. He's 6 years old. He's doing these.
Some of the haircuts they have. I'm like, I mean, obviously, you know, I appreciate good hair, and so. You know, now Henry's getting the little things in the side. I'm taking him to to get faded up at the barbershop. So, yeah, it's
Henry's
good.
invited to the barbecue.
Yeah. Hopefully. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, it's an exciting time, man. I think that we just wanted to get on here and kind of, you know, we're not trying to steal players. I think that we need competition between all of the clubs. I just think we probably feel good now that we can put our name in the hat as being a premier club to come be a part of.
Club in the Premier League, doing Premier things.
Flash brought his notes.
Flash, like, are we missing anything? No, I wanted to ask, I mean, what's next then? Like, of course, you guys made the announcement, MLS Next is coming, but what is that? What's next? Is there tryouts?
So we're going to do some ID centres, which are open for anybody, you know, anytime. Like, it doesn't matter what league they're in or what they're doing, they can feel free to come out because MLS Next, they can come and try out whenever they want. So we have ID centres that will be popping up. There's going to be a informational meeting on Zoom that we're going to have as well, and then just everything will be put on social media as far as tryouts and ID sessions and everything like that. So we're going to do everything we can to see the best players we can and, you know, represent Oklahoma City as well as we can on the MLS Next new competition tier stage.
So does that mean like one team, 2 teams? How many teams competing?
So we're going to have U13 through U19.
13.
And then as far as our 9v9 groups, they'll be in pre-MLS Next leagues. There's still some things that we're sorting out there. But so from once they're coming competitive, from the youngers all the way to the oldest, they'll have that opportunity.
Nice, and all competing in those same tournaments that you said everyone competes in as well. Which is the biggest thing for me because, you know, as college coaches in the fall we can't really go to many games to watch. It's more about the event, and if you're a college coach, you'd rather go to an event and see all these teams
different teams play than go to one league game to watch one team play.
Makes sense.
So yeah, just that exposure for our groups, I think will be incredible. I know the MLS Next, as far as the youth US national team, 98%, I believe, of them players are MLS Next players, and the other two are from international places. So, you know, just to be in that environment and around it and kind of to see the events and everything like that, I think it's going to be incredible.
Is there possibilities of, like, if Sporting Oklahoma does it great, could get bumped up to a higher tier?
Yeah, absolutely. It's not on performance, it's on how many kids are you promoting to MLS Next. So, like, how many kids, if we're sending so many kids to Kansas City, they're going to look at us, and that's going to kind of start conversations there. But yeah, our goal, you know, is be competitive in this, get our kids the most exposure possible, and hopefully get a kid up to Kansas City, signed for Kansas City.
Yeah, that's huge. So it seems like it all kind of, holistically kind of starts with you, you know, getting them to that level to compete there. No pressure. Yeah. You know what I mean? And but eventually, I mean, I didn't want to say that MLS Next doesn't have anything to do with you, but, you know, getting to the next tier means that, you know, everyone has to be at that level.
Yeah, so. Like when we pick up the 2015s next year from Evan, you know, they're going to have some of the, you know, philosophies and teachings that we want club round. So they kind of know our system, and then our system aligns with Kansas City's system. So it's just trying to put the jigsaw together for these kids to go up to Kansas City and, you know, have the best showings of themselves.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, if there's ever anything that you guys want to share, definitely let me know. I am like a text message away. And I'd love to share it. Yeah, that's what the platform is for, the Football Factory page as well. And, but yeah.
Man, I think that you've done amazing. I really do feel like I said earlier, just the sense of community that you guys have. I don't know how much Polio is doing anymore with anything you guys are. I mean, are you guys all still?
We all communicate
Mas Futbol
once a month, maybe. You know what I mean? But Javier's, you know, doing his thing, fighting his own battle.
I mean, what he's doing is amazing. Yeah. You know, but it's exciting. I think there's a lot of great people in soccer here. There's a lot of great coaches, a lot of great, you know, what would you call yourself, an influencer?
No, but
you influence people.
I guess, I don't know. I like media and soccer, so I just.
But what I've told Flash, you know, over and over again, and you know, we all know soccer. Like, we could sit and talk. We're watching Barcelona from earlier, and we could sit there and talk about. It's not about knowing the game. It's about being a good person. You know, being committed to the kids, being committed to the growth of the game, and all of those things. If you'll do that, that'll start setting the culture. So. If we do that in our club, and I've seen that even with guys we're bringing into the club, like coaches and parents, even like players, and, you know, there does seem to be a little bit of a different culture in the club. And if you can do that here, and then if we can, you know, that's when the culture of our whole city and then our state starts taking hold. And I'm not saying people are bad people or anything like that, but when you're motivated by the right things, you'll start seeing that drive the game. And once that drives the game, that's when the game you'll see a spike in that. So I do appreciate like every little phase of that. I mean, it's not just us as coaches or leaders in our club. It's you, it's Invicto. It's, you know, all of these things that we have going on around here. You know, I coach with WPSL with Sean Jones and those guys. And is there a better person than Sean? You know what I mean? And those guys. So I think the more of that's what's exciting about the game right now. This is exciting for us, but as far as the game is just getting us all together and keep driving it forward.
Doing something, yeah. Will you be participating in that this year? The WPSL?
No, I don't. You know, once the kids got older and we could take vacations on the summer break, and you know, I do still keep track of it. I mean, I was fortunate enough. I mean, I didn't know it at the time. But now, I mean, I knew at the time I was coaching amazing players, but I didn't know I'd be coaching Yasmin Ryan that's playing for the national team now, or, you know, players that aren't even on the national team, like JC Jones, all those players that went on to do special things. I mean, them having the opportunity, and I always say I coached them, but I really am back in my mind. I'm like, I was just observing. But no, and that is something that needs to be driven more too, or just the the professional teams and things like that we have around here. Because there's a few men's teams now, I think.
Yeah, there's the Oklahoma City United, then there's the Certified Lions playing in the MSL 2 and 3rd Division, which next year they're going to play at the fairgrounds, which is super exciting. Amazing. Professional place. Yeah, there's the Imps.
I mean, even the college teams. I mean, we have so many great college teams. It's for Oklahoma City. When we played UCO this past season, we might have had 1,000 people at the game. It was insane, but it's fun because you see all these little girls out there watching the game. And I would always encourage parents, like, take your kids to college games, take them to these professional games, take them out to the WPSL. Those girls will wait around after the game and sign and do anything you want. So those guys are great too. But I just don't have the time for it now, So.
That's what's exciting is that we've talked a lot about the new men's professional team. I'm more excited to see what the women's professional team to do, considering the amount of great players and programs that are here.
Yeah. It's an exciting time. I mean, is there a better time to be in Oklahoma City than right now?
No.
With the Thunder?
And let me ask you guys a question about the energy.
Why don't bring up the Thunder?
The Thunder?
Oh, they're amazing, though. But go ahead.
The Thunder is great. Number 1 in the West, possibly the MVP.
How do we have that in Oklahoma City? It's crazy.
We've had a lot of legends in Oklahoma City. Yeah. That's what I was trying to tell somebody. I was like, hey, man, we are fortunate to have all these legends come through Oklahoma City. But what I wanted to bring up to you guys, did you guys see the 5 names that were suggested for the new professional team?
I mean, I was following. So I'm off social media now. Okay. I've taken a hiatus.
That's right.
You guys, well, you probably can't, but so I don't, I saw some of the goofy ones, I think, that people were putting up for it.
Well, let me tell you the ones that made the list, the final cut, right?
This is like the real list.
This is the real list. And there are a couple factors as to why some names weren't chosen as to others, but I think the most important one is it has to be trademarkable. So that really takes a whole bunch of names off the table. But OKC Bison FC, OKC Lightning FC, I thought that one was cool. Yeah. Lightning and the Thunder, maybe.
Okay.
The Thunderbird, OKC Thunderbird FC. Thunderbird.
Oh.
Thunderbird, yeah.
Okay.
OKC United FC. And this last one, it blows. It's OKC Wind FC.
So the blows, that was a dad joke?
Yeah.
You just made?
Yeah. It's a good one, right? Considering how windy it was last Friday.
Yeah, that would make sense now.
It would make sense.
Wind FC?
Wind FC. OKC Wind FC.
I think they should give it a direction. Like South Wind.
Yeah,
something. It just doesn't sound Wind FC. Which one's you think's gonna win?
I don't know.
What would your vote be?
I like Lightning. Yeah, Lightning FC.
That's where I was
Lightning
going.
FC. OKC Lightning. Lightning Thunder. Thunderbird.
All the effects you can do with the Lightning. You know what I mean? Have you driven past Devon Tower when it's game day and we've got the thing going?
That's nice.
I think we can do it, man. I think Lightning's it.
Lightning's it.
Are we making a plug for it?
Is that what you're going for?
I'm voting Lightning.
Lightning? What are you voting for? Bison?
No, not Bison.
No, not Bison.
Lightning for me.
Lightning sounds good. We'll go with Lightning then.
But do we want to be reminded of the Wind? I know Lightning, but Lightning's kind of cool. If Wind won, we already know it's windy. It's something we hate. Don't you hate it?
I don't like it, no.
Yeah, we're going Lightning.
Lightning works. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I guess we'll go with Lightning. I will leave the podcast there. Lightning FC it is.
We're trying to drive Lightning as the name for the team.
I think so.
When do they announce that?
I think they'll announce it in April, maybe.
Did you see the goofy ones?
No. Okay. I've seen a whole bunch of Toby Keith FC. I've seen all kinds
Everyone
of
would have to have a mullet.
Colors? Are they sticking with the green?
They had red, blue, and green, but they don't have official colors. Bratas had white and black when he was here because the Santos FC colors, white and black wouldn't be bad.
The white and black can't go wrong.
Can't
go wrong, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't too happy with the suggestions. A lot of people suggested we should have just stayed with energy, but, we can't. So I was thinking about it, and you're never going to make everyone happy. No matter what gets chosen, no one's going to,
You're probably not even, it's not even not everyone, it's most people.
75%.
If you can make 60% happy, you're in a good spot.
But what you want is the committed 60%.
That's true.
You know what I mean? You don't want the uncommitted ones.
That's a tough job for whoever is, having to make those decisions. But
with Lightning FC.
Lightning FC it is. Well, guys, I appreciate you for coming on and sharing the exciting news. Was there anything else that we didn't get to share that's new and exciting happening at Oklahoma Sporting?
No, I think that's everything. I think it's a real exciting time, like Evan said, for OKC soccer. So just look us up on social media and kind of all the developments that we have going with our girls program as well. But yeah, I think it's going to be a real good 12 months.
I think that's it.
Well,
thanks for having us on.
Of course, I appreciate you guys for coming on. We didn't even get to talk OC talk, but we can leave that for another day.
Another
You know
day.
what I mean, yeah, because season's coming up. And
Yeah.
yeah. But all right, man.
All right, man. Thanks for catching up.
I appreciate you guys. This has been another episode of the Mas Futbol Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. And we'll catch you guys on the next episode. Peace.